crypto ecosystem is going to be worth hundreds of trillions of dollars over the next few decades. We're at the very beginning of this explosion of technological innovation. What you want to do is you want to be plugged in to some of these smaller, under the radar types of opportunities that have the ability to move 100x, 200x, 300x. People here watching are probably thinking, look, that's all good and well to say, but that sounds like fairy dust, right? What can move that much?
China's renminbi will go to zero over time, or some people refer to it as the yuan, will go to zero over time. All fiat currencies in the history of the world they all go to zero. This is one of the most important things to understand about wealth. That your dollars, whether it's pesos or euro or yen or yuan, or it doesn't matter. Your dollars are a melting ice cube. And that the key to wealth is to switch dollars into something that does not go down over time. You make your dollars, but you must, and you spend dollars to live today. I got to look at your faces for this, right? This is too important for me not to look at your faces. All right? Listen, you work to make dollars, to make pesos or dollars or yen or euro, whatever your fiat currency. You work to make that. A portion of those dollars you use right now to live. You pay your bills, you buy your groceries, you take a vacation every now and then, whatever. You use your currency to live today. But whatever you don't need today, you do not save. This is a critical mistake that has been taught to us erroneously by our parents, by our grandparents, to save. Savers don't become wealthy. Do you understand this? You can't save your way to a better life. Saving is a mistake. Do not save your dollars. You move dollars into something else, which is called investing. You invest your dollars. You do not save your dollars. Why would you save something that's going to zero? Why would you save something that is worth $1 today, and tomorrow it's worth 50 cents, and the next day it's worth 25 cents, and the next day it's worth 12 cents, and the next day it's worth 5 cents? Why would you save something that is declining in value, that will ultimately go to zero? Why? Why would you do that? You don't save what loses value. You save or hold on to what goes up in value over time. So you have to make a switch. Do you understand? You have to make dollars. You go into the system, you make dollars. You take a portion, you spend that today, and whatever you don't need today, you switch into something that does not melt. You switch into something that does not go down over time. You switch. You make the switch. That's called investing. You don't save dollars. This is the most idiotic thing that has been taught to us in our past. Savers don't become wealthy. Only those who switch their dollars into hard assets that go up over time. Do you understand this? Tell me you understand this. A penny saved is still a freaking penny. Do you understand? Repeat that. A penny saved is still a freaking penny.
The digital currency solution is the most important technological advance I've seen since the internet. It has the capacity to do lots more, but it certainly has the capacity to enable us to move anything of value around the world at the speed of light at no cost. It has three components. It has a token of value, which is called the Bitcoin. It has an accounting mechanism, which is called the blockchain. But the most important piece, which is one that people aren't focusing on, is the protocol. The underlying protocol by which we agree to conduct these transactions. So you use a series of protocols every day and you don't even think about them. You don't think about the internet protocol, you don't think about the simple mail technology protocol, you don't think about the file transfer protocol, you don't think about the high text translation protocol. I can go through them, right? You just make use of the technology and the protocols make it work. The people who really understand what's going on with digital currencies understand that putting these protocols in place, the blockchain protocol, the Ethereum protocol, the Ripple protocol, and then enabling those protocols to cause transactions to occur. And then those transactions can be defined very broadly as not just moving things of value, but anything that's got an information content, is extraordinarily transformative. The focus on the value of the token is distracting and uninformative.
So maybe now's a good time to invest in it.
And at some point, it probably will be that we'll get smart regulation and that crypto will become part of the established financial system as opposed to something on the fringe. The real promise of these technologies, the reason that I understand you got into it from the first place, is because what it could do for the friction, right, the cost in functions like payments, right, or clearing.
Correct.
Or custody. These are essential components of the financial system that help to make banks like JP Morgan as profitable as they are and to generate the return on assets that they currently do. What happens if crypto takes those profits away from the financial system, eliminates the friction there, or in something like real estate, right, where you have to deal with a lawyer, you have to deal with title insurance, you have to deal with registration, you have to deal with all that nonsense?
Well, that's part of the vision of this, right? Which is that, so I'll make an analogy. We, in the last 20 years of trading on Wall Street, there's been a lot of news recently, you might have noticed, about GameStop and other things. A lot of that is the end result of not this GameStop stuff, but just kind of what's going on now. It's the end result of putting technology into equity markets and taking over 99% of the cost out of trading in equities. Mm-hmm. Today, the cost is less than 1% of what it was 20 years ago to trade in equities. We've gone from 8 3/4 spreads to sub-penny spreads and from huge commissions to zero commissions. During that same time period, the credit card companies think they've had a birthright to 2 to 3% of every dollar that moves around the world. FX costs 5 to 7%. Remittances cost close to 10%. Payday loans can cost up to 20%. And to be able to reduce those prices to consumers by 50, then 75, then 90% will be a massive consumer welfare benefit. It's one of the reasons why.
So ballpark it for me. What percentage of the profits in a financial system do you think today are at risk because of the promise of effectively the protocol, as you said, right? These various protocols that enable transformation on a technological level.
So I haven't quantified that, Eric, so I really don't know. I can't give you a good answer. I would say that the way I think about it is that I think that the deposit taking and lending will continue to be core, highly regulated elements of the money center banks. All the services, and you alluded to some of them around that payments, custody, settlement, clearing, all those sorts of things that are their services, businesses that they charge very high fees for, and have very high returns on capital on, will be ones that this technology can go after and can take massive amounts of cost out of. That's the way to think about it.
Glenn, I want to conclude
the number.
Well, I would like you to, because I know you've put a tremendous amount of thought and study into these kinds of things. And in our next conversation, we can talk about that. But I wanted to conclude this conversation that we're having, which I think has been incredibly informative, Glenn, by asking you a crass question. You've been a crypto investor for a long time. If you were to evaluate the crypto, and using that in broad terms, the crypto portfolio that you and your son James have built at North Island in X terms, which is to say multiple terms, what kind of return have you generated?
You have to be an investor to get that number, Eric.